Welcome to the 47th meeting of the Honolulu Liquor Commission. When addressing the commission, please remember to state and spell your name clearly and to speak into the microphone. We will be calling out of order agenda item number 26, request number 24-03768. Good Island Life LLC. Please go ahead.
Chair, members of the commission, Brittany Show, authorized agent appearing on behalf of the applicant. To my right is Rory Alta, whose name I've given to the hearings reporter prior to the commencement of today's hearing. He's the member and manager, sole member manager. The commission has received our request. Submitted to you folks to decide what would be the best course of action to handle this situation.
Seems a bit out of the ordinary in terms of the amount of notice and the change in what's about to take place. But
we would agree, however, just based upon the circumstances with the transfer of order, it came about just recently. As soon as this came about, we tried to take the course of action to rectify the situation.
okay. Do you want to explain the situation to us so that we can?
Basically, the transfer is unable to renew the license. She can't get it. She can't get a certificate of standing nor proof of interest. Quite frankly, she has shut down the business. It's no longer a viable entity with the Department of Commerce and Consumer Affairs of the state of Hawaii. And because of that, there is no entity to transfer.
Okay. Commissioners, do you have questions?
I'll make a motion for us to go to an executive session. Sorry.
First one.
I know, I'm looking for the first. Pursuant to Hawaii Rights Statute, Section 92-4 and subsection 92A 5A-4 to consult with the board's attorney on questions and issues on a matter pertaining to the board's powers, duties, privileges, immunities, and liabilities. I'll entertain a motion to go to executive session for those purposes.
So moved.
Okay, we're in an executive session. Okay, we're back from executive session where we were discussing the authority that the commission has in terms of trying to accommodate the issues that you have with respect to transferring the application. And unfortunately, well, let me start over. We're glad that you're working with the administration here to try to come up with a viable plan. But the viable plan that you proposed, I think, has some issues in terms of our authority to implement it. Our ability to transfer with the request immediately, especially with an agenda item that's already been published, we can't do. With respect to continuing on with your temporary license and then starting with a brand new license, that's probably one of the ways you can discuss with the administration and try to figure out something there. So we are inclined to not approve the request, and we can kind of go from there then on to agenda item number 1. But we think that you'll still be covered with respect to the temporary license that you have today on the transfer. And then there's something, did that make sense?
Okay.
Okay.
So for agenda item number 26, my motion will be to deny the request.
Second.
So moved and seconded to deny request number 24-03768. The chair also votes aye. Agenda item number 26 is denied. Calling agenda item number 1, transfer application number 24-00838.
Again, good afternoon, Chair, members of the Commission, Greg Nishok, authorization appearing, but on behalf of the applicant, to my right is Rory Otto, whose names spelling I be given to the hearings report prior to the start of today's hearing. We received an investigator's report. I have no changes there. Oh, excuse me, one correction. Under Rory Otto, it should be member/manager. He's a sole member and manager.
Okay, and so as we said before, certainly the transfer application we can approve, and that would give you some time. On the back end, as you pointed out, this isn't going to work, so then you can go and submit for a new license and then go forward from there.
I can go ahead and read something into the record really quick for
Yes,
this
please.
application. Thank you, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. This application has received 0 written protests, 0 letters in support. Applicant has met statutory requirements for the submission of this application. And for the record, a summary of the June 6th preliminary hearing testimony was provided to Chair Hong prior to the public hearing.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to testify either for or against this application? Okay, seeing none. Commissioners, any comments or questions?
I have no comments, but my motion will be to approve agenda item number 1.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve transfer application number 24-00838. The chair also votes aye. The application is approved.
Thank you. We'll proceed accordingly. Thank you.
Calling agenda item number 2, transfer application number 24-00878 Palisade Marketplace Inc.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, Commissioners, Devin Nicoba here, representing Palisades Marketplace. To my right is Mona Sadek, Sadek. She is the owner of the premises.
Okay, Assistant Administrator Hirai.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. This application has received 0 written protests, 0 letters in support. Applicant has met statutory requirements for the submission of this application. And for the record, a summary of the May 30th preliminary hearing testimony was provided to Vice Chair Hollinger prior to the public hearing.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to testify either for or against this application? Okay. Commissioners, comments?
Motion to approve agenda item number 2.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve transfer application number 24-00878. The chair also votes aye. The application is approved.
Thank you very much.
Calling agenda item number 3, transfer application number 24-00946 from R&R Candy LLC.
Chair and Commissioners, with respect to agenda item number 3, there is a letter in the board packet from the authorized representative requesting rescheduling of the public hearing to the July 11th meeting due to her inability to be present. So the commission will keep the public hearing open and continue the matter to July 11th, please.
All right, thank you. Okay. Calling agenda item number 4, application number 23-01655, Waimanala Kitchen LLC.
Good afternoon to the commission. My name is Lindsay Diamond. I'm the manager member for Waimanala Kitchen LLC. To my right is our beverage director for all of our locations, Nick Sheehan, who is also our authorized agent.
Administrator Hirai.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. This application has received 0 written protests, 0 letters in support. Applicant has met statutory requirements for the submission of this application. And for the record, a summary of the April 25th preliminary hearing testimony was provided to Commissioner Sakamoto prior to the public hearing.
Is there anyone in the audience who would like to testify either for or against this application? See none. Commissioners, any comments or questions?
I haven't.
Motion to approve agenda item number 4.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve application number 23-01655. The chair also votes aye. The application is approved.
Thank you very much.
Calling out of order your agenda item number 24. Agenda item number 24. Request number 02290 from Waimanala Kitchen LLC.
My name is Lindsay Diamond, manager member of Waimanala Kitchen LLC. I'm here with Nick Sheehan, authorized agent, beverage director for all of our locations for Kalapawai.
All right. Commissioners, any questions?
Requesting to approve fees, renewal fees. License.
So just confirming, so you're looking to approve a request to use the fees from the 2024 to 2025 for this new license, correct?
That's correct, because of the nature of the expiration date falling right in between
Okay.
when we can post.
Mr. Rai, do you have any input on that?
Yes, just for the commissioner's information, because the matter that was just approved was a category change for the licensee. So any fees that have been tendered for the old license are lower in amount than what would be owed for the new license. So there would need to be an accommodation made for the uptick in the license fee. Also, if you could, I mean, in terms of perhaps you could advise us what your proposed pickup plan is for the new category license.
Okay, so tomorrow morning, we have our final inspection with the investigator. I'm gonna guess that he's probably gonna call back here and either approve or deny the final license. The current licenses expire on the 30th, which is Sunday, which means that the earliest we can come to pick it up would be opening of business day, Monday morning. At which point Nick, who's our authorized agent, would come in with a check for the $180 difference between the two licenses and pick them up. So we would be operating under the 23-24 license until end of business day on the 30th, at which point we would go dark on the 1st until he's able to get back to the location in Waimanalo. This is assuming that it's available for pickup on the 1st. If not, we will operate under the new license on the 1st and pick it up on the 2nd. Or under the renewed license, I'm sorry.
I believe that can be accommodated, assuming on the 1st that the final inspection has been signed off on. And you bring in the old
Yeah, so he'll come in and replace the license. He'll turn in the, I guess it would be the renewed license. He would be the one that he would turn in with the fee differential. And on the day that he does that and he pulls the license off the wall, we would go dark until he can get down here, replace it and bring it back.
Motion to approve agenda item number 4, request number 24-02290.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve request number 24-02290. The chair also votes aye. The request is approved.
Thank you very much. Have a great afternoon.
You too. Okay, calling agenda item number 5. Application number 23-01663 Straits Hawaii LLC.
Good afternoon. To my right is Pomokai Shishido. Spelling has been provided. He is present with counsel Wayne Luke. We have no changes to the investigator's report.
Okay, Assistant Administrator Harai.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. You've been provided a copy of the investigator supplemental licensing investigative report. This application has received 46 protest signatures. Of that number, 41 coming from owners, lessees of parcels within 500 feet of the proposed premises with valid protests of a total number of owner lessees of 2,260. And 16 registered voters within 500 feet of the premises protesting the license of a total number of 778 with the requisite percentages computed on the report of 0.018% for owner lessees and 0.02% for registered voters. Applicant has met statutory requirements for the submission of this application.
Okay, I have a list of at least 3 people that would like to give oral testimony. I will call the 3 of you, and then if there is anyone else, you're welcome to step forward. Mr. Brian Liu.
And once you're seated, I'm going to swear you in and I'll run a 3-minute timer.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you swear that the testimony you give today's hearing will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners. I'm a resident who reside in close proximity of the Straits Restaurant. I am also the general manager of the Waiver condominium, which is located directly across the street, Oahe Street, from the restaurant. I am deeply concerned about the potential impact on our residents at Waiver and for the impact on the community. Currently, the Straits Restaurant plays music in which vibration of the music is heard and felt in the units at Waiver. Having live music and dancing till 2 a.m. will significantly affect the quality of life for our residents, disrupt their sleep patterns, and create an unpleasant living environment. Given the residential nature of our neighborhood, granting this license without proper consideration for noise mitigation would detrimentally affect our residents' well-being. I kindly request that the Honolulu Liquor Commission thoroughly assess the potential noise impact to take appropriate actions, which include requirement that the applicant submit a comprehensive noise abatement plan that outlines specific measures to minimize noise levels during operating hours. This plan should address soundproofing, closing times, and any live entertainment or amplified music. Number 2, consider imposing conditions such as restricted operating hours, mandatory soundproofing, and regular noise monitoring. While I appreciate the diversity that this restaurant brings to the area, asking for these conditions for the license issuance would help strike a balance between business interests and the well-being of our residents. I appreciate your attention to this matter and trust that you will carefully evaluate the impact to our community. Thank you for your commitment to maintaining a harmonious and livable neighborhood, and I look forward to a fair and thorough review of this application. Thank you.
Thank you.
May I submit?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. You guys.
I can ask someone to run copies.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
That's right.
You just submit one before.
I
This is
did,
the first one.
but this is my verbal,
Oh, okay.
um,
Yeah, but you did submit that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I.
Oh,
it's similar.
okay.
Hold
Yeah,
on. Stop. Okay, commissioners, do you have a question?
Yes, so first, I know that you have said that in your comments that, you folks have felt the noise and such within the, building that you're in currently, correct? Have you, either has you as the manager for the AOL or any members of the AOL contacted Straits Restaurants to let them know that this is what they felt and heard? That's the first question. To follow up with that question, has anyone contacted the Honolulu Liquor Commission to inform them of what you either felt or heard during this time period?
First question, we have contacted Howard Hughes, who is the landlord for
Okay.
that particular facility.
Okay.
And secondly, we have not contacted the Liquor Commission on that issue.
Okay. That's everything I have.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
No. Okay, I actually did have some questions. Sorry. How long have you lived in the area?
4 years.
Okay, and in terms of, we've had different noise complaints in that area. Have you had other complaints or?
We have other complaints from other restaurants in that area, specifically Dave and Buster's. That we have contacted the Liquor Commission. I have personally, in fact, in addition to contacting Howard Hughes for that particular noise issue. So that has been addressed, but fortunately, they haven't had those big parties where at the end of the night, at 1 o'clock in the morning, we have the chi-hoos going.
Yeah. And
So
then,
what we're trying to do is work with Straits to mitigate that.
and just on a kind of relative level, is the issues that you've had with Straits on the same level or medium or less than what you had with David Buster's?
It's less.
All right, okay, thank you
Okay,
very much.
thank you.
Calling Dr. David Wei.
Hi. Do you swear that the testimony you give today's hearing will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is David Wei, and I'd like to thank the commission for holding this hearing so that we can hear the community's voice. So I have been a resident in the building where Brian manages for the last 7 years. And it's a very good building in a very nice neighborhood. So my wife and I raise our sons there. And as you know, on that street, you're gonna see a lot of people walking, jogging, young parents parading their babies around. So it's a really nice residential community. And then by just like any community, residential community, by 9 o'clock at night, you hardly see any people walking around. It's pretty much everybody goes back to their unit and, ready to go to bed. So granted, there are some restaurants around, I mean, they open till 10, but a lot of time they close their shops by about 9:30 or so. So yeah, it's pretty quiet. So now with the Straits restaurant petitioning to have the restaurant open till 2 a.m. and serving alcohol and live music. And, grant a lot of residents in the community and also in our building become very concerned because we already have the example from Dave Buster, making lots of noise till 2 o'clock in the morning. We certainly don't want to have another, Dave Buster, the second type of restaurants around making noise in the early morning. So that's why I'm asking commissioner to consider the application seriously. Please don't set up a precedent. Otherwise, the third restaurant is going to come in. They're going to open a restaurant till 2 o'clock in the morning. Pretty soon, the Kakako area, it's going to be like another Waikiki, and we don't want to be another Waikiki around, right? So in summary, please consider their application carefully. And like Brian was saying, maybe considering some sort of restriction on their license. Maybe they could serve the alcohol and have live music till 10 o'clock, but no later than that. So people in the area can get a nice night of sleep. Personally, I do surgery a lot of times 7:30 in the morning. So I do need my rest to be 100% for the patient the following day. So my patient will really appreciate that. Thank you.
We want you well rested. Questions, commissioners?
So I understand, surgery wise, right? I guess my question being, the discussion or comments you made was about restrictions for the license.
Mhm.
For yourself, weekends, is there times that you look at? Most usually we look at weekdays, right? We understand people may have to sleep for work
Right,
during
right,
the week. Weekends, most people may be off on the weekends.
right.
And again, this is. How do you feel in regards to restrictions on weekends? Because weekdays, we can understand everyone needs to sleep for work. Weekends, sometimes we look to give some openness to a business to allow them to
Right.
give that weekend crowd the ability.
I absolutely agree with you. So on weekend, whatever law allows, so in this case, probably till 1 o'clock in the morning.
Hmm.
I mean, I think that was the original license applied for, is to extend the hours till 2 o'clock in the morning. So 1 o'clock last call and close, shut down completely by 2. Provided, it's not so noisy, it's gonna wake up the entire neighborhood.
Thank you. That's the only question I had.
And my question is,
Uh-huh.
how has the environment been with your Dave and Buster's neighbors? Has that kept you?
So far, it's, I think since Brian's complaints and we work with our representatives in the community, it really hasn't been an issue as far as I know.
Okay. And have you ever called the commission with a complaint?
Not personally, but all the complaints, I think, is all channeled through the managers, general managers and board of the building.
All right. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Calling Dr. Thang Do.
Do you swear that the testimony you give at today's hearing will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon to the commission. My name is Tom Doe. I'm also a resident at Waiea. And I'd like to echo Brian's and Dr. Way's statement on the potential concerns for disruptive behavior and noise issues as a result of the license requested. Having said that, as a resident there, we want a symbiotic relationship with the businesses there. We want businesses like Straits to thrive and do well. So we're not trying to hamstring them like that, but we also want the businesses to be thoughtful about the residents who live there full time. So we just want to ensure that there are efforts taken to make sure that there are steps taken, such as ending by 10 o'clock on weeknights, and obviously on Friday and Saturday nights. It's reasonable to think that should go a little longer to 1 a.m., just like Dr. Way said. But in addition to that, maybe make sure that there are sound abatement issues, maybe not music outside too late, and just reasonable steps for the business and the community. Thank you.
Commissioners, any questions?
He answered most of the ones I would have not.
And I have my similar questions. Have you been bothered by the current, previous Dave and Buster's issues?
Dave and Buster's was a problem until they changed some of their Bud Light nights. The Chihus went till 2, 3, 4 o'clock sometimes, and since they stopped the Bud Light nights, that's better. There's still some occasions, but nowhere near as intense as before.
Very much.
Trying to get a gauge of the proximity of Dave and Buster's and Straits. Is it similar in distance?
Straits is basically right across the street from us. Dave and Buster's is about half a block down.
Okay. And Dave and Buster's, the noise is caught all the way up through the top floor of the building. Yes, gotcha. Another questions.
Right, thank you very much. Is there anyone else who would like to provide testimony? Okay, commissioners, questions?
Yeah, Mr. Lu. Let's, so you've heard what the testifiers have talked about and given out. So what is you and your client's responses?
Our response is, we have dealt with Howard Hughes. Howard Hughes has helped us. As Howard Hughes, in effect, is telling us what to do regarding noise and what have you. When we first, when we first opened, which is back in November. Oh, we had at the beginning, they made, they tested the noise, the highest that their amps that, that would go out, and Howard Hughes agreed with the manager that, it was within limits, okay? We, as you know, we have been open for 2 temporary licenses, which is 240 days. And we have not received any noise complaints from them across the street. And they have contacted Howard Hughes, and Howard Hughes, monitors us. They want to make sure everything, is on alpha, everything is cool. And then someone, I guess, there were some complaints. If they had written complaints, I had sent, the letter that I had sent to the commission explaining what has happened and what we have done. And someone reached out to, as they said earlier, they had talked with Representative Sakai right about David Buster's. And Representative Sakai took an interest in it. He went in there and examined the situation. And basically, I think the Liquor Commission has a letter received by him. I don't know if they received the letter from Representative Sakai. Have you folks? Yeah.
Not officially.
Yeah, so, and basically, Representative Sakai has gone over, made a list of, a proposal. We agree with, we agree with them. There is no closing time set for weekdays, but everything else, we will, go along with, with the recommendations made by Representative Sakai.
Just so that you can hear what some of the recommendations are, is that it would operate as a restaurant and not a nightclub. Live entertainment would be a singer musician and not a band. The entertainment will be held within the restaurant and not open air. The outdoor patio will be only for serving meals. Not sponsored concerts. Entertainment with a disc jockey will be monitored for noise and vibration, Sunday through Thursday with a last call at 10 p.m. and closing time of 1:30 Friday and Saturday nights. I would like to have the opinion of one of the testifiers, if that seems like reasonable accommodations.
I would think that's very reasonable.
Okay, and is that reasonable for you? Okay, and I think one of the things that might be important that we've had in other situations like this is that, you have a number for them to call in case something comes up, so then it just goes directly. But on the other hand, you're welcome to call them directly, and if you don't get answers, certainly you're welcome to call us as well and lodge a complaint, and we will, examine the terms and conditions of the license.
One thing I would recommend, I do believe, Mr. Luke, that, with the situation that has been gone on in that area, right, with Dave & Buster's and all of those things, providing them a number to call, but also having a log sheet that you could fill out showing when they called and what their complaint was or what the decibel was will help if there's further, or if there becomes issues, right, with noise. That way, when they do call us, if they do, right, we can work together to figure out how that happens, right, and whether it can be solved. So again, I just want to make it stated on the record, Mr. Luke, that your client is agreeable to the verbiages and things that Mr. The chair read out in regards to it not being a nightclub, it being a restaurant, all of those things, correct? Because I'm entitled, or I'm inclined to approve the license with these types of verbiages, but have it set there and be reviewed 6 months and 6 months so that we can see how things are going, to give the community time to see how this happens and works.
Yep.
That's fine.
Any other questions?
No, I think that sounds like it should accommodate everyone.
Yeah, I will provide the letter that I sent to you, which has the manager's phone call.
And so, Mr. Wright, in terms of stating the conditions of the license, do we need to make it into a motion now?
Just when you approve, the approval is subject to the conditions is enumerated in Speaker Psyche's letter. And then with the proviso that, they return in 6 months for probationary review. And then a final 6 months probationary review.
Okay. So my motion is going to be to approve agenda item number 5, application number 23-01663 with the pointed bullet points in Speaker Psyche's letter. And that it will be a conditional review 6 months from now, and then with it
Subject to a probationary review
subject to a probationary
at 6
review at
months
6
and at
months,
the end of the.
and then at the end of the 12 months.
Inclusive would be the keeping of the log of the complaints on site.
I would say that the log should be kept, but if there's no complaints that come in, right, and we don't have complaints or you don't get complaints, then that log, it's just more if there is complaints, we want to see it, then we want to see it. So I would do the log, but I'm not going to. I think we've had a lot of things here that were provided.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve application number 23-01663 as amended in the motion. Now, the chair also votes aye. The application is approved. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Calling agenda item number 6, application number 23-01719, Blue Tree Salt LLC.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Kevin Alke. I'm the manager member of the company. To my right is Barry Mungjago. He's one of our partners.
Mr. Wright.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. This application has received 0 written protests, 0 letters in support. Applicant has met statutory requirements for the submission of this application.
Commissioners? Oh, no, we did have a complaint, yes.
Well, so she had read that there wasn't, but we got this, right?
Yeah, I saw that. I believe there was a complaint from the collection or no?
Oh, there was a protest letter?
Yes.
I apologize. I amend my previous statement that when protest letter, 0 letters in support.
Just checking. The only question I would have is, have you folks seen the letter that came in from the collection?
I have. Not too sure.
Wait, you explain it to me.
So basically it said, they're worried about the noise levels, people being rowdy, drunk, causing fights. So they're afraid of, it might attract the wrong crowd. And that's basically the summary of the letter.
Yeah, and I talked about noise disturbances, safety, security concerns. Okay.
And you kind of heard from the last one, right? We want you to run and enjoy having a business and serving the community, but we want to make sure that the community isn't disturbed by the operations of the bar. So.
Yeah. And
With regards to the sound, there's no speakers outside. We'll have 4 tables in the front patio area. Mainly everything's condensed inside the restaurant, and it's gonna be like a coffee wine bar, so it's not gonna be open too late. Closed after 10 o'clock. breakfast, lunch and dinner.
So you have no, I mean, I guess my only question is, they have no intention, right, to put out any kind of music outside beyond like 10 o'clock or something like that, or,
Not at all.
okay.
I,
That's the only thing I would be questioning about. Beyond that, I mean, I don't foresee there being too much noise or too much wrong types of things, but again, we want to make sure those concerns are answered. I have no other questions. Motion to approve agenda item number 6, application number 23-01719.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve application number 23-01719. The chair also votes aye. The application is approved. Good luck.
thank you, sir.
Thank you. Calling agenda item number 7, application number 23-01938, 111 Bishop LLC. Hello, how are you doing?
How are you?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Christina Ohira with the applicant, and to my right is Hayato Nogaki. He's the general manager for the AC Honolulu.
So, Ms. Arise.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. This application has received 0 written protests, 0 letters in support. Applicant has met statutory requirements for the submission of this application.
Is there anyone in the audience who would like to testify either for or against this application? Commissioners.
I have no questions.
So how's it been running in the downtown?
Good, no complaints, and he can tell you about it.
It's been going very well.
Okay, were you affected by the power outage?
Yes.
Obviously.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, everybody had a very miserable time down Chinatown. All right, no questions for me.
Motion to approve agenda item number 7, application number 23-01938.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve application number 23-01938. The chair also votes aye. The application is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Calling agenda item number 8, application number 24-00115, Makana Lani Dining Experience.
For the Lady Mixer appointment, I will make a disclosure. The ILWU does represent the employees at Alohilani Resort. I am not their direct representative, and this will not affect my ability to be impartial in this matter.
Thank you, Commissioner Hollinger. Good afternoon, members of the commission. Mia Opsiana on behalf of the applicant.
Okay, Ms. Sarai.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. This application has received 0 written protests, 0 letters in support. Applicant has met statutory requirements for the submission of this application. And for the record, a summary of the April 25th preliminary hearing testimony was provided to Commissioner Sakamoto prior to the public hearing.
Okay, is there anyone in the audience who would like to testify either for or against this application? No, commissioners, any comments? Questions?
Motion to approve agenda item number 8, application number 24-00115.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve application number 24-00115. The chair also votes aye. The application is approved.
Thank you very much.
All right. If there's anyone present who wishes to provide testimony on agenda items number 9 through 33 and 35 through 37, you may do so now or wait until the agenda item is called. Special licenses. Agenda item number 9, application number 24-02749-1 to 24-02749-9, 17A Productions LLC.
Hi, Rick Shibasaki Goro, representing a partner of 17A Productions. We are looking to open our annual pop-up bar season, starting with the Alpha Video, which is the 80s theme. And previously we were at Alamoana area, Shokudo, but they have a new tenant coming in. So now we're applying for the former Hokilau restaurant in the executive center, lower level.
Commissioners, any questions?
Nope. Motion to approve agenda item number 9, applications number 24-02749-1 to 24-02749-9 inclusively.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve applications number 24-02749-1 to 24-02749-9. The chair also votes aye. The application is approved.
Thank you.
I'll see you downtown.
Yes.
Good luck with that.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Okay, calling agenda item number 10, application number 24-03436, pools and catering. Oh, no. Oh, there she is. All right.
Long time no see.
I know. Right.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Sheila O'Connell, Event Coordinator and Authorized Agent for Cools and Catering by Cinnabon. For this application, we have a graduation party, approximately 250 people. 2 HPD will be on site and the bar will be inside of the ballroom.
Hold on, I'm getting caught up. Speed dial. All right, any questions?
So I'll make my comment that I always make when we get to the graduation season. For any events that you folks are putting on out there and you're using the outside garden space or courtyard area, please keep an eye out for the passing of alcohol. Because obviously this is graduation and everybody wants to have a good time, but we also want to make sure the kids are safe.
For sure. Thank you, Commissioner.
That's my only comment. Other than that, motion to approve agenda item number 10, application number 24-03436.
Second.
So moved and seconded to approve application number 24-03436. The chair also votes aye. The application is approved. Calling agenda item number 10, application number 24-03436, Cools in Catering by Cinnabon.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Sheila O'Connell, Authorized Agent and Event Coordinator for Cools and Catering by Cinnabon. For this application, we have a baptism celebration with approximately 150 people. 1 HPD will be on site and the bar will be outside,
Different.
inside,
Inside.
inside.
See.
Excuse me.
No question.
No question.
All right. Motion to approve agenda item number 11, application number 24-03437.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve application number 24-03437. The chair also votes aye. The application is approved.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling applications number 24-03525-1 to 24-03525-30. Agenda item number 12, Kahala Senior Living Community.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the commission, Ms. Uri, Robert Uyoka on behalf of Kahala Nui. Present to my right, Ms. Audrey Morabito, first name Audrey, last name Morabito. She is the vice president and chief financial officer. For an extension from the existing special nonprofit liquor license, we do have an underlying club liquor license application filed in. I think it was late 2022, but it's moving along nicely right now.
Oh, good.
So I want to thank the administration staff. It's moving forward. We're just working on some items.
I have no questions. Let's see. So are you doing the monthly payment thing or all at once?
This unfortunately is a special nonprofit,
Ah,
so it doesn't have a fee.
oh,
Yeah, it is a
that's
nonprofit.
pretty awesome.
But thanks for asking. We are using one. I think we filed one yesterday. That we're gonna do it. That we're gonna do it. So thank you so much. It's very accommodating to our clients. We appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's it.
Motion to approve agenda item number 12, application numbers 24-03521-1 through 24-03521-30 inclusively.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve application number 24-03521-1 to 24-03521-30. Says the chair also votes aye. The agenda item is.
Thank you so much.
Calling agenda item number 13, application number 24-03888, Free Spirits LLC.
Good afternoon, Commissioner and Chair. Matthew Choi, Manager Member, Free Spirits. This is for a series of events at Aloha Stadium celebrating the SWAT Meet's 45th anniversary. I have no changes to the investigative report.
Okay, Commissioners, any questions?
We've done this before.
We've done events
Yeah.
that were pretty big at the stadium, yeah.
I have no question.
No questions.
Motion to approve agenda item number 13, application number 24-03888.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve application number 24-03888. The chair also votes aye. The application is approved. Thank you.
Run it again. Go next one.
Oh, next one. Ah, God,
Yeah.
sorry about that. Agenda item number 14, application number 24-03890, Free Spirits LLC.
Good afternoon, Commissioner and Chair, Matthew Choi, Manager Member, Free Spirits LLC. This application is for the other two dates for the Swap Meets 45th Anniversary Series. No changes to the investigative report.
Motion to approve agenda item number 14, application number 24-03890.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve application number 24-03890. The chair also votes aye. The application is approved.
Thank you.
Calling agenda item number 15, application number 24-03944-1 to 24-03944-11. So.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Christina Ohira on behalf of Jalapenos 808. My client was not able to attend because it's dinner time right now.
I don't have any questions. Motion to approve agenda item number 15, application number 24-03944-1 through 24-03944-11 inclusively.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve applications number 24-03944-1 to 24-03944-11. Chair also votes aye. The application. Thank you. Calling agenda item number 16, application number 24-03994, Memoirs LLC.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Adam Gray. I'm the bar manager for Memoirs Catering. I have no further changes to the investigative report.
See, wait, can you walk us through this event?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a wedding at LIQ Honolulu. It'll be on July 5th. We do weddings there all the time.
Oh, that's the same place. The map looked a little different.
Oh, I did.
Oh, okay.
The angle's a little weird, but
Yeah, you guys have done this before.
Yeah.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and actually, both applications will be for the same venues, same load in, load out times.
All right.
I'm good.
Yeah, I have no questions.
Okay.
Motion to approve agenda item number 16, application number 24-03994.
Second.
So moved and seconded to approve application number 24-03994. The chair also votes aye. The application is approved. Calling agenda item number 17, application number 24-03996, Memoirs LLC.
Good afternoon again, Commissioners. My name is Adam Gray. I'm the bar manager for Memoirs Catering. Again, this is a very similar wedding. This one's on July 20th. Same venue, same load in, load out times. Guests will be arriving by shuttle, so there'll be no driving.
Okay.
Got that simple.
Motion to approve agenda item number 17, application number 24-03996.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve application number 24-03996. The chair also votes aye. The application is approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Calling agenda item number 18, applications number 24-03976-1 to 24-03976-120. Ina Steak and Seafood LLC.
Good afternoon, Chair, members of the Commission, Greg Nishioka, authorizing appearing on behalf of the applicant. We have received supervising investigator Sato's report. I have no changes there too. We will submit the notification to the neighborhood board upon the receipt of the same.
He looks like one taking advantage of our payment
yeah,
plan
payment plan, huh?
options. Very good.
And we're making the commission, their butt, their whatever the intake, boost it up. Eh? But no, seriously, yeah, we appreciate that. Thank you very much.
We were hoping that by doing that would encourage people to look at these kind of ideas, right? Because it's 360 days, so.
Yeah, and you don't have to come here as much.
Yeah. And it works.
Hopefully it saves everybody time.
Okay, I have no questions.
Set for me.
Motion to approve agenda item number 18, application number 24-03976-1 through 24-03976-120 inclusively.
Second.
So moved in second to approve applications number 24-03976-1 to 24-03976-120. Chair also votes aye. The application is approved. Okay, calling agenda item number 19, application number 24-03978-1 to 24-03978-120. Rise Holdings LLC.
Good afternoon, Chair, members, Commission, Greg Nishio, authorized agent appearing on behalf of the applicant. We have received the supervisor investigator Suffolk's report. The only comment we would have is with regard to the comment. We did submit this set of application to the Commission on June 14th, 2024, which would have been timely. However, I believe it's sat in the front for a while, and then it was timestamped on the 20th of June. And again, we will submit the local board certificate of may return receipt upon receipt of the same with the Commission.
Motion to approve agenda item number 19, application number 24-03978-1 to 24-03978-120 inclusively.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve applications number 24-03978-1 to 24-03978-120. Chair also votes aye. The application is approved.
Thank you very much.
Calling out of order, agenda item number 23, request number 24-02012 Pacific Oceans of Hawaii.
I want to 23.
23. Mr. Luke.
Yeah.
The increase of premises for Kanoya.
Yeah, is it 20? Oh, can I-
23.
We wanted to
23.
do 23 out of order and then come back to 20.
Oh, okay, I was just sorry.
Yeah.
For the record, effect Wayne Lucas, counsel for the applicant.
All right, you walk us through your requests?
This is just clearing up, this license has been around for a while and the investigator is just cleaning it up. It's mostly, it doesn't affect the main floor where the dining area is, but there are other areas that was not included in the floor plans.
Gotta get to where we're at. Probably moving around.
Second. Aye.
Yeah. Okay, so your request is just to increase those red portions on exhibit B, correct?
Right, it's included in the,
Yeah, because in that way it gets to become all part of the thing, right? Because it's
That-
not otherwise,
that
right?
is correct. Yeah, you're correct.
Okay,
So it's a whole way.
yeah,
Yeah, familiar with the site.
yeah. Okay.
Good.
Motion to approve agenda item number 23, request number 24-02012.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve request number 24-02012. The chair also votes aye. The request is approved. Calling back in order, agenda item number 20, transfer application number 23-01480, Kanoya Limited Liability Company.
For the record, reflect Wayne Lucas, attorney for the applicant. There are no changes to the investigator's report.
Yes, I know this one, all I will make a comment is work with administration, because I do see a bit of a red line in a couple little areas. but I don't see it throughout the whole space. So when we get to the public hearing, let's make sure we have red lines outlining where all the spaces are on the floor plan.
Sure. Thank you.
Any other questions? Motion to approve agenda item number 20, transfer application number 23-01480.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve application number 23-01480. The chair also votes aye. The application is approved. Calling agenda item number 21, transfer application number 24-00880. Ichiriki Khalid. Nope. Okay. So we will.
You can just recall it at the end of the agenda and see if anyone shows up.
Okay. Calling agenda item number 22, request number 24-00875, Broken Boundary Brewery LLC.
You know, we're not sure why they continue not to show up, so we'll just ask you to, we'll just reset for the July 11th hearing and try to make contact with them.
Calling agenda item number 25, request number 24-04094, Sodexo America.
I don't see Justin.
Yes, that's unusual. We'll have to call.
Is that outside?
It's
Sodexo.
It's within the commission discretion whether or not to go ahead and approve the date change as requested, even though Mr. Solosada is not present.
Because we approved it previously,
Yeah.
right? It
Yeah.
was just
The
a change needed to be
Changing the
changed, right?
date, yeah, the start date.
I'm okay with that.
Good.
Okay.
Motion to approve agenda item number 25, request number 24-04094.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve request number 24-04094. The chair also votes aye. The request is approved. Other business, agenda item number 27, request number 04002, Min Young Woo.
I believe with this matter, I'm sorry. I guess she sent the client.
I'm not the client. Good afternoon, commissioners. I'm Mary Ferreira, representing GU Corporation. And they are requesting to change the start date of their temporary license to July 1.
Okay, so you haven't started.
They have not started yet. They just need more additional preparation to it.
Okay.
Is it appropriate to ask if they're gonna ask for the dates credited back, or does that need to be separate agendas?
They haven't, oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, do it now, whether come back.
Yeah, so we've opened your, well, I guess they wanted to start, so actually everything kind of credits.
Oh, does.
It's technically,
No.
correct me if I'm wrong, even though it's been approved, right? For 529, if they didn't pick it up, nothing starts until they pick it up, right?
Right, and this is, on most temporaries, you don't see it the first time around because we do administrative approvals. But the change of start date, we do put before you. So this has actually been a temporary that has been approved. And they're just altering,
When they
it's
start.
either on the day of approval or within 7 days of that, if we don't hear otherwise.
The clock has started.
Well, she's asking to roll it
Back.
forward to July 1 because the clock did start.
Okay. The clock did start.
Yes.
Wait for the credits.
I don't think the clock started, so there's nothing.
No, the clock did start.
But if
But they'll get 100, look at all 120 days from July 1st, right?
if you can confirm there's been no activity at the premises from May 29 to July 1, I guess that's perhaps information that they're trying to get.
I was told no, there's been no activity.
Okay, yeah, okay.
So they'll start their 120 days from July 1st.
We've been getting requests for days credited
Credited,
back
yeah.
if you hadn't started yet. I thought we'd capture that now and give you the benefit of not coming back to go ask for this. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm looking with that.
yeah, I'm good with that.
Motion to approve, hold on, let me get to where we are here. Okay, agenda item number 27, request number 24-04002.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve request number 24-04002. The chair also votes aye. The request is approved.
Thank you.
Huh, okay, calling agenda item number two. Should we take a break?
We can.
I think we're gonna go into recess.
Go ahead and take a quick
Reset
recess.
quickly.
Okay, thank you. We're back from our recess. Calling agenda item number 28, request number 24-04007, Nicholas Wong on behalf of Bamboo Tiger Shop.
Hi, my name is Nicholas Wong, owner operator Bamboo Tire Shop or DBA Beer Lab Hawaii. Really just here today, we sadly had to close our university location. We relocated across the street about 300 feet to Bucks Alley. We do understand that the previous, I guess, licensee there had a restaurant license. So we had a class 18 small craft producer. We do understand that there is not a great way to just have a relocation of a license. So we do understand, you know, with a temporary license, you are supposed to go for a permanent of the same type, but there is an exception to that if the commission approves that. So that's what we are here asking for, to go for that class 18 instead of having to go through the, I guess, the restaurant, temporary restaurant permanent, then apply again for a class 18 permanent and kind of go through that cycle of it.
Okay. I think I understand what you want to do. I am not sure that we can do it. And so even though we just took a recess, we're probably going to.
But I do have a question.
Oh, please go ahead before we go.
So it looks as if there's two parts, right? Your first part is right to do oh, because it's not within the 5 days though, right? So basically it has nothing to do with the 5 days itself. It's just part of that request because of that rule itself.
Yes.
Okay. No, that's, my question was if it had to do with a 5-day thing, because that other place has been gone. We could approve a 5-day filling thing, but that would matter whether or not you got it anyway, because we might not be able to approve the change.
The change in class.
Okay. Hold on. Let me get my thing.
Your language.
Yeah,
First page.
got it. The commission may go into an executive session for the following reasons pursuant to Hawaii Revised Statute Section 92-4 and subsection 92-5A4 to consult with the board's attorney on questions and issues in a matter pertaining to the board's powers, duties, privileges, immunities, and liabilities. I'll entertain a motion to go into an executive session for this purpose.
So moved.
Okay, we are in executive session. All right, we're back in from executive session where we were discussing the relevant statutes in terms of this request. The request is a little bit complicated in that there's a simple matter of the request, which is the 5-day exception. So that part's kind of straightforward. But the change in class is kind of a much more weighty thing for us to do in terms of, taking over another, in this case, restaurant, and then trying to change class. And so those were the things that we're thinking about. So there are two items here. One is just from a procedural level, it wasn't agendized to change in class. So we, on that level alone, we would reject this request. However,
Sorry, sorry.
No, however, there's the, okay, so what do I do and how do I come back, right? And so there's two aspects of it in terms of requesting the waiver of the 5 days. Certainly that's still on the board, just not right now, of the way that the request is written. And then the second part is how do you get from where you are to the class 18 license? And that would, we think, require to just start the licensing process.
Yeah, sorry, I did forget to state that, yeah, if you guys, if needed, we are happy to we'll take the restaurant license also.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
You can act on that.
yeah, if needed, but, yeah, we do know that it is, a bit more, back of the house paperwork side to refile and kind of have to go through the whole review application process all over again, but I mean, it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. So we. Yes. So we can approve the request for waiver. In
Oh, wait,
terms of-
though, do we do it, is it agendized?
It absolutely is agenda for that.
That part, okay, I just wanna make sure
With respect to
we're making the right things.
a standalone restaurant, standalone temp restaurant.
Okay.
So, do we ask him to amend his, or do we just amend it here as only a waiver for a temporary?
I think just your approval language can be explicit that what you are approving.
Okay,
All right.
so my motion is going to be to approve agenda item number 28, request number 24-04007 to waive the 5-day limitation in regards to filing for a temporary license application.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve request number 24-04007 for the waiver of the temporary license of 5 days for the same class of license.
Thank you very much.
All right. You vote aye. Oh, I vote on the motion's approved. All right. Yeah.
29.
Yeah, hold on, we gotta get back into the groove here. Request number 24, agenda item number 29, request number 24-04085 from Jennifer Barikawa.
He's 29.
Yeah.
Yep.
Honolulu.
Ohana Hale.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good evening, Commissioner, I'm Chris Udu of Ohana Hale.
In the start, she had a start date,
Yeah.
So basically, this is just from the one that we approved recently, right? We're changing the start date, right, from June 17th to June 1st. I mean, July 17th to July 1st, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And I wanted to know that I have a credit which I did talk to the people in the front and they told me it was 3,600. But I wanted to know if it's possible I could add in whatever. I don't need to take the credit. If I could just use the credit for another month or so, whatever that they'll bring up to me on the on the credit for the special license?
I don't think we can do that.
Well, that request is not before you. This is just strictly to change the start date of a special license application that has been approved. And I assume that payment had already been made for that. So with respect to a credit, normally I would think that would only apply to prospective applications. So I'm not sure what you're trying to ask for. Well, we can try to work with you.
Yeah, you can work with the administration.
Yeah.
Once you get the credit and then, well.
Yeah,
You
so
want to denominate them as special license dates, right?
Yeah.
Right now, we can just approve the change.
yeah, so the credit part is not on the agenda, so we only can approve the change, but would direct you to work with administration in figuring out all of that other things.
Okay, so on the change of the deed would be like, July 1st, so it would be like 30 days, so it would be like July and August.
So if the original one that we approved was from July 17th, 2024 to August 7th,
No, September 14th.
September
They approved for
14th.
60 days.
60 days.
From July 17 to September 14. That was the approval.
60 days, so what would be the change now from July 1st to?
We just move up the difference in the days.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
60
you already paid for those 60
Yeah,
days,
yeah.
so it would cover the new term if they approve the date change.
Oh, okay,
The July 1 to whatever, 60 days later,
yeah, oh, okay, so it'll be.
Calendar days, yeah.
or whatever, or event days. I don't recall off the top of my head if these were consecutive dates, to be
Okay.
honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right. I don't have any questions.
No.
Motion to approve agenda item number 29, request number 24-04085.
Second,
Been moved and seconded to approve request number 24-04085. The chair also votes aye. The request is approved.
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay. Can I have a motion for the adoption of decisions and order?
Yeah, motion for adoption of decision and order for agenda items number 30 through 33 inclusive.
Second,
It's been moved and seconded to approve the adoption of decisions in order of agenda items number 30 through 33. The chair also votes aye. The agenda items are adopted. Okay. Calling agenda item number 34, Oahu Mexican Grill LCV 24-006. Okay, can you make your?
Thank you. Good evening, Commissioners. Deputy Corporation Counsel Mario Everett. I am the Corporation Counsel assigned to Liquor Commission prosecutions for this contested hearing.
hi, Scott Plater, I'm the owner of Oahu Mexican Grill.
So I'm sorry if there's an introduction you need to do. Otherwise, I have some stipulations that I think we can place on record.
Okay, hold on just a second. You're gonna do this? Where am I here?
Just do this.
Okay, so I think we can
The
start.
witness.
Okay, we can start with your speculation.
Thank you. I did speak with defendant before this hearing began, and we are in agreement to stipulate to the admissibility of the exhibits that have been previously provided to the Liquor Commission. I believe they're uploaded onto the OneDrive and can be pulled up by either party if we wish to use them during the hearing. In essence, exhibit 1 and 2 are copies of the reports that were generated for this. I don't intend to use that during the body of my complaint, only to refresh recollection or something like that. Exhibit 9 is the licensee documentation, the charging instrument, etc. Again, I don't anticipate using that during the body of the contested hearing. Exhibits 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 are the photographs that were taken during the investigation here. Defense and the city are willing to stipulate that those are fair and accurate depictions of the items described therein. They will also be summarized when my witness is on the stand. I understand defendant also does wish to ask some questions about those documents. That's perfectly fine under this stipulation. We are only stipulating to their admissibility and foundation.
Mr. Plater can make an opening statement.
Oh, you do the. Hold on.
Commissioners, at
Yes.
this point, you want to accept the stipulation as well as the exhibits into evidence.
Thank you. Oh, okay. So we have a motion to accept the stipulation and.
And the exhibit.
And the exhibits. Okay.
Make a motion to accept stipulations and the exhibits presented by Operation Council.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the evidence and approve the stipulations. And the chair also votes aye. They are accepted. Okay. Oh. Yeah, now we're here. Right? So.
Commissioners, if I may, before we continue, we are willing to give opening statements if the commission prefers it. Otherwise, we are willing to skip over opening statements, go into evidence, and have closing statements at the end to summarize. It's at the commission's discretion.
For the defense?
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
I would suggest that the charge be read.
Thank you.
I do need to arraign the defendant before we go into the actual evidence.
By the way, if it's not a remand,
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's an administrative process. It's important.
True. Excuse me, the licensee representative.
Yeah, want to do a reading of the charges? Sure.
That on or about January 27th, 2024, in the city and county of Honolulu, licensee permitted liquor to be consumed on the premises of the licensee or on any premises connected therewith, to wit, on the public sidewalk fronting the licensed premises, whether there purchased or not, and consumption in such area is not permitted by the terms of the license in violation of section 281-78 subsection B subsection 2 of the Hawaii revised statutes.
Maybe you can invite the parties to be seated.
Yeah, oh, I'm sorry. Please be seated. You have to be seated.
Appreciate that.
We're
I
working.
was like, what do I do?
So, can you identify yourself for the record and how do you wish to plead? Right.
Scott Flater, the owner of Waga Mexican Grill, last name is Plater. I wish to plead not guilty.
All the other witnesses?
Thank you. The city would first call liquor investigator Chad Ka'iaikala. Didn't I? Can you please state and spell your name for the record?
My name is Chad Ka'iaikala. It's spelled Kaa'ikaula.
I'm gonna quick swear you in. Do you swear that the testimony you give at today's hearing will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, investigator. And I apologize for mispronouncing your name.
No problem.
It's been a long set of hearings. Can you please state your name and occupation for the record?
My name is Chad Ka'iaikala. I'm a TA liquor control investigator 3.
What does TA mean?
I'm just filling in for vacant liquor control investigator 3 position.
Okay. Outside of the filling in for a vacant position, you're primarily a liquor investigator 2?
Correct.
Okay. How long have you been employed with the Honolulu Liquor Commission?
Approximately 3 years.
Okay. I'd like to draw your attention to January 27th, 2024. Were you employed by the Honolulu Liquor Commission?
Yes, I was.
What was your assigned duty?
I was specifically instructed by our administrative services officer to go to the establishment and check if they had their posted license because according to the document there, they didn't pick up their license. So we wanted to just make sure that their license was actually posted with the original license.
Now, when you say the premises, are you talking about Oahu Mexican Grill?
Yes.
And is that located at 2520 Kalakaua Avenue?
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you say we, who else was present with you on this assignment?
I was partnered with acting supervising liquor control investigator Jacob Fears and liquor control investigator Glenn Nishigata.
Do you know the current status of investigator Jacob Fears?
He's no longer with the Liquor Commission.
Okay. All right. So did investigator Glenn Nishigata remain in the vehicle during the entirety of this investigation?
Yes.
Okay. So it was you and then investigator Fears who conducted the investigation.
Correct.
Now, before we go any further, can you please describe the premises of Oahu Mexican Grill? What does it look like? Where is it located? That kind of thing.
To get to the establishment, you have to go up a flight of stairs, and about 10 feet to the right after you reach the top of the stairs, there's like a booth where they serve the food.
Okay. Is there any beer garden or other designated location outside of the licensed premises where alcohol is permitted to be consumed?
No.
Are you familiar with the liquor license for Oahu Mexican Grill?
Yes.
Where is alcohol permitted to be consumed under the terms of their liquor license?
Only in the licensed premises.
Okay. At this point, I would offer what has already been stipulated into evidence as the third page of Exhibit 9 as the liquor license for Oahu Mexican Grill. It has been redacted to remove confidential information. Okay. Now, when you and then investigator Fears initially entered Oahu Mexican Grill, what happened? What was the summarization of your investigation?
We went and checked that they had their posted license, and they did have their original copy posted. So when we were about to leave.
Okay, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna cut you off before we get to that
No
point.
problem.
Did you inform the manager that there was no issues with their posted license?
Yes.
Okay, so at that point, your investigation that you were currently working on was concluded, everything was fine. Is that a fair characterization?
Yes.
Thank you. Now, what did you observe as you and then investigator Fears were exiting the area?
We observed two customers that was sitting in the establishment, stand up, walk out with two alcoholic beverages in their hands.
Okay. Now, when you say you observed them sitting in the establishment, roughly where were they sitting?
Approximately to the right of that food service area.
Okay. And you indicated that they were holding alcoholic beverages. What kind of beverages were these?
Pacifico beers.
Okay. Did you have a clear and unobstructed view of the Pacifico beers in the possession of these customers?
Yes.
Okay. Please continue. What did you observe the customers do after they stood up?
They exited the establishment, passing two employees and walking down the flight of stairs.
I'm going to pause you for a second. Where were those two employees located?
Approximately 10 feet from the exit.
Okay. Were these employees that you interacted with in any way during your initial investigation?
I didn't interact with them. Mr. Fears interacted with them.
How do you know that they were employees?
Because they were standing behind the counter and helping customers.
Okay. What did the customers do when they started walking towards the exit to the establishment?
While they're walking down the stairs, Mr. Fears tried to get their attention by calling out, "Excuse me, sir." The customers kept walking down the stairs until they hit Kalakau Avenue.
Okay. Did either of the two employees that you discussed stop the customers from exiting the location with their alcohol?
Did we stop?
Did either of the two employees stop the customers?
No, no one told anybody to stop or anything like that.
Okay. Were there any posted signs or placards saying alcohol cannot be consumed beyond these premises or any other wording to that effect?
No.
Okay. I'd like to publish what has been marked and stipulated into evidence as Exhibit 4, 5, and 6. These are photographs from well, I'll let the witness answer. Is what you're looking at, I believe that's Exhibit Exhibit 4. Does that fairly and accurately depict the bottom of the stairs exiting out onto Kalakaua?
Yes.
Is there any sign saying liquor cannot be taken beyond this point?
No.
Okay, if we could move to Exhibit 5, please. Exhibit 5 has already been stipulated into evidence. Is this a fair and accurate depiction of the top of the stairs leading down to Kalakaua?
Yes.
Are there any signs indicating that you cannot take liquor beyond the licensed premises?
No.
And if we could move to Exhibit 6, lastly. Thank you. Is this the sidewalk fronting the entrance to Oahu Mexican Grill?
Yes.
Are there any well, let me ask this. Are there any signs that indicate where alcohol is permitted versus prohibited in Exhibit 6? Okay. Did the two customers that you are referring to walk past the locations shown by each of these 3 exhibits as they were exiting the premises?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right. After the two customers started walking down the stairs, what did you and then LCI Fears do?
We identified ourselves, showed our badge and credentials to the customers. They stopped and they proceeded to
Hold on for just a second. Let me ask you a couple of questions about that. When you and LCI Fears showed your badges and stopped the customers, where was this located?
On the sidewalk of Kalakaua Avenue.
Okay. And was this the sidewalk that was connected to and fronting Oahu Mexican Grill?
Yes.
Was this within the city and county of Honolulu and the state of Hawaii?
Yes.
Okay. Now, did you or LCI Fears have the primary speaking interaction with these two customers?
Mr. Fears was the primarily talking to the customers.
Okay.
But I was right behind them.
Okay. Did you have a clear and unobstructed view of what was going on between Mr. Fears and the customers?
Yes.
Did you have a clear and unobstructed audibility of what was being said between the two?
Yes.
Can you please describe the interaction?
Mr. Fears had instructed the customers that they were not allowed to bring down the alcohol from the licensed premises. And after he told them that, the customer said that he purchased the alcohol. So he then took a sip of the alcohol.
Okay.
And gave Mr. Fears the 2 alcoholic bottles to dispose of.
All right. At that point, did Mr. Fears take possession of the 2 bottles?
He did.
Okay. And did the customers leave?
Yes.
All right. And just for clarification, when you say that the customer took a sip of the alcohol and then passed the bottle over, just one of the customers took the sip, correct?
Yes, the male customer.
Okay. Excuse me. If we could move to Exhibit 7, please. Is this a fair and accurate depiction of the 2 bottles that were covered by LCI Fears, or excuse me, by Mr. Fears?
Yes.
Okay. Where was this photo taken?
Directly in front of the food service counter.
Okay, so this is back inside Oahu Mexican Grill.
Correct.
In the background, you can see one person behind the bar in the upper right-hand corner. Do you see what I'm referring to?
There's 2 people.
Or I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. Yes. 2 people behind the bar in the upper right-hand corner. Are those the 2 employees that you previously referenced?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. Is there a clear and unobstructed viewing between the bar location and the exit to the premises based on your view?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. Now, lastly, let's talk real quick about the alcohol that the customer drank from. Are you familiar with Pacifico?
Yes.
What is Pacifico?
It's an alcoholic beverage.
Okay. And if we could turn back to Exhibit 6, please. Do you see the menu that's posted in Exhibit 6 on the right-hand side?
Yes.
Is Pacifico listed among the draft, under the draft beer section? Or I'm sorry, under the beer section of the menu on Exhibit 5 on the white portion of the menu, second down in the middle?
Yes.
Thank you. And I'm sorry if I could have one moment just to make
No,
sure I
okay.
catch everything. Thank you. Last question, is the sidewalk on Kalakaua within the city and county of Honolulu, state of Hawaii, where this violation took place, is that a public sidewalk available and open to the public?
Yeah.
Thank you. I have no further questions for this witness.
Later, you have opportunity to ask one.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
Wait, hold on a second.
Sure.
So he gets that, but then,
We can ask questions.
so the process will be, we'll be able to ask questions of him, then it'll be your turn. And
Okay.
then he'll have the opportunity to rebut any of those questions that either one of us asks, which would be more examination.
Okay.
Then either he'll rest or you'll then call witnesses.
Okay.
Okay?
Sure.
Thanks. No, it's not sure. So I do have a couple quick questions.
Please.
So if we look at, let's see here. Let me see if I can get the number here. Exhibit 7. The picture where where you had talked about the 2 employees that are up in the far right-hand corner. So if I'm looking at that picture, is there some type of epoxy polyglass or
Sneeze guard.
polycarbonate?
Sneeze guards.
A sneeze guard, so there is something in front between where the customer stands and where the people at the bar or people in the back are, correct? Okay. So if they're back there, where in relationship to that is, if you look at exhibit 5, which is the pictures of the stairs going down. In relationship to where this sneeze guard is and where they're at, where is that walkway?
Approximately 10 feet from the food service area.
10 feet from the food service
Approximately.
area, okay. And so with that picture where we looked at with the bottles, where were you and Inspector Fears standing when you saw the customers walk out?
Could you go back to that picture? So where the food service bar area, we're a little bit to the right of that.
A little bit to the right of that. Okay, so I guess my question for you would be, if you had said something, if you, let's say you did say something to the customer, were you closer to the customer that was going out than they were?
I was
Or you or Fears, you or Inspector Fears? So were you or Inspector Fears, when the customers went down the stairs, were either one of you closer to those customers than those employees were?
where the customers in this picture are you talking?
The ones that were going down the stairs
Oh,
with the
okay.
alcohol?
We were just to the right of them. They walked right alongside of us.
Okay,
So you were closer.
Yeah,
okay.
sorry.
So technically you were in between them and the employees.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
just
no,
to get
I'm-
a sense of the room, the stairways is, if we're looking at exhibit 7, the stairways is to the right, directly to, or is it to the far and to the left? The customers are in the,
Right to the left of where this image is.
Yeah.
There's stairs that's going down.
so the customers hang a left and you go straight down.
Correct.
Okay, I see. And when,
Yeah.
and when you said that, the employees, they were coming up the stairs when you were going down, or did I miss that part?
No, employees were.
Just there.
behind. Yeah.
Oh, they
right
were there
behind.
the whole time for this
Yes.
incident. Okay. All right, and were there only 2 employees in the place at the?
No, there were more employees. These were the 2 closest to the exit.
And when you purchase alcohol there, you purchase it right there and. Or is it somewhere else?
I'm not sure where they purchased.
All right.
How do the employees get out from behind the counter? For example, if they were going to stop the customers
I believe to the right of them, there's an opening that they could go through.
I don't have any other questions.
Just in the exhibit 7, so there's one kind of full and one kind of empty frame, and
Correct.
and one was a male, one was a female, and those were the two.
Correct.
Okay, and you said the male and I finished off the beer, and second one is the one you
Correct.
covered. Okay.
Mr. Planner, you have an opportunity to cross-examine the witness.
Great, thank you. Sorry, I don't want to mispronounce your last name. Can I call you Inspector or Inspector Chad or?
That's fine.
Okay. So you said you worked for the commission for about 3 years as an inspector?
Correct.
Okay, and have you worked with Jacob Fears most of that time?
Yes.
You have? Okay, is it the same Jacob Fears that's currently embroiled in multiple scandals and lawsuits in relation to his work as an inspector?
Commissioners, I'm going to object. I'm sorry to interrupt. Commissioners, I'm going to object to any testimony, comments, or rulings by this commission on cases that are currently active in civil litigation in the circuit courts. I want to make sure that there aren't any judgments that happen here that have repercussions in circuit court matters that the licensee representative is referring to. Over and beyond that, I would also object to relevance for any of this kind of stuff levied against investigator Fears while he is innocent until proven guilty.
Okay. I would like to say, not relating to any current cases, but we do have a history with Jacob Fears. He has come to our establishment multiple times, and there was a very large problem that he created once, and I won't go into any of the details.
Oh, no, hold on. I think that's your testimony. I think you're supposed
Oh, I
to
gotta
be
ask
asking
you.
about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry.
And but you
I can add
can
that
say all of
closing
this
statement.
when we get to you.
Okay, okay.
Closing.
Yeah, closing statement. Got it. Okay. Okay, so one concern I had was, we have videos, which I couldn't figure out how to take a clip and upload in time, but I have probably about 16 cameras in this restaurant, so I have videos of this whole thing happening. And the video matches the written statement of you and of Jacob Fears. However, your verbal statement today, I believe, contradicts what you had written. Because I think, unless I misheard you, but I thought I heard you say that while you were in the restaurant, you watched the customer stand up from his table with the beers and walk out the door, like, we have the correct exhibit up, and walk past the employees and down the stairs. But both your written statement and Jacob Fears' written statement say that you didn't notice the customers holding the beers until you were on the stairway, and they were at the customer was at the very bottom of the stairway, and you were halfway down the stairway. Is that correct? Do you have recollection of that?
I don't believe so.
I mean, I can read your statement here.
Perhaps you can.
Refresh your memory?
Well, perhaps you can bring up exhibit, I believe it's 2 for this witness.
Okay.
Which is the report.
Let's see, could you go to the next page, please? There we go, yeah, right there. So on Saturday, January 27th, 2024, approximately 21:16 hours, SLCI Fears, LIC Nishigata and I, wait, sorry, what's that? Arrival. You go to, observation, sorry, that was one paragraph up. Okay, at approximately 24 hours, SLI Fears and I observed a male and female customer walk down the stairs of the aforementioned licensed premises carrying 2 alcoholic beverages. And so you're saying that you saw them on the stairs carrying the beers, correct?
We saw them sitting at the table, so I did.
You saw them sitting at the table, but
Yeah.
there's no comment about you seeing them taking the beers and walking toward the exit through the restaurant. It wasn't until you were on the stairs that you noticed that they had the beers?
Well, I can just go on what my report said. I didn't.
Okay, I can read, can we go to Jacob Fears? Here we go. Let's see, go to premises exited section. think it's maybe above that. This,
If I may, we could go to exhibit 1, which is Mr. Fear's report. This is exhibit 2.
Okay.
and under the premises exited, there we go, right there. Says, while proceeding down the stairs of the aforementioned licensed premises, I observed a male and female walking in front of me. I observed as the male had in his hand 2 brown bottles with a yellow label, Pacifico. So both the written statements are stating that as you walk down the stairs, you notice that they had the beers, which is different than your statement today, where you say you watched him walk through the restaurant.
I'm sorry, before you answer,
think
I
it's
am
an important
going,
distinction.
I am going to object to the use of Jacob Fear's report to try and impeach this investigator. You can by all means use this investigator's own report for any inconsistencies with his oral testimony, but the testimony by, the written report by then investigator Fears, which is written in the first person, I observed, should not be able to be used to impeach the oral testimony of this witness who did not write that report.
And I'm not intending to impeach anybody. I'm just pointing out that the written documents from both of you state that you saw the bottles of beer as you're walking down the stairs. There was no mention of you seeing any bottles of beer in the restaurant. And the camera actually confirms that, because as I watched it, you guys said goodbye to my manager in the bar area. You leisurely walked to the stairs, and as you started to walk down, I see Mr. Fears look down and say, "Oh, excuse me, sir, and start to run after him. So the camera backs up your written statement. It's correct. So did you want to clarify anything, or
My written statement.
stand by your written statement?
Yep.
Okay. I stand by your written statement too. I think it's correct. Okay. So, so you did not see the customer stand up from the table with the beers and walk to the top of the staircase with the beers then? Correct, according to your written statement,
We saw them walking by us.
down the stairs, by you.
We
Oh, you saw them walking by you.
we were
You didn't see
addressing the
them walking
manager at the
beers.
time.
Right. So you saw them walking by you, but you didn't see the beers.
We did see the beers. That's
As
why
they walked by you?
that's why Mr. Fears called out to the customers to stop.
But both your written statements say you didn't see the beers until you were on the stairs.
I don't believe
I mean, it's,
my written statement said that.
maybe we can go back to it. Read it again. At approximately 21:24 hours, SLCI Fears and I observed a female and male customer walk down the stairs of the aforementioned licensed premises carrying 2 alcoholic beverages. I mean, I'm not sure what's going on here. That's exactly what the statement, those are your words, correct?
Yeah.
So you saw them carry the bottles of beer when they were on the stairs, is when you noticed them, the bottles of beer.
I don't
Same
believe
thing as Inspector Fear said, same thing as the camera shows.
I mean, they did walk down the stairs with the bottles in hand.
Right, okay. Okay, and you're under oath right now, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So I can provide camera evidence at any time if that's necessary, but. Okay. According to the written, so I'll move on. According to the written statements, neither of you saw them carrying any beers until they were on the stairs. Then as they were walking down the stairs, you saw them and you called out to them. And at that time, did you or Inspector Fears do anything to stop the customer from walking out the beers?
We called out to them, or Mr. Fears called out to them to stop.
Okay. And it's illegal to have an open container in public area, correct? I guess the point I'm making is that the only law that was broken here was by this customer, and I'm wondering, did you do anything to get identification from him, or did you call the police? Or did you do anything with him?
Well, I believe the violation was that they're removing alcohol from your license premise.
Okay. So I guess my question is, did you allow? Did you give permission, or do you, the customer in question, do you know him? Have you ever met him before?
No.
Do you have any relationships?
No.
Do you think Inspector Pierce has any relationship with him?
No.
So it wasn't a sting operation or anything like that where you set him up to
No.
to do something like that? Okay. So going back to your written statement, I guess wondering how both you and Inspector Pierce are, multiple years on the, as inspectors, and, it's your full-time job, it's what you do. And according to your written statements anyway, you guys didn't see him walk through the restaurant and carry the beers down the stairs. It wasn't until you said goodbye to the manager and then strolled through the restaurant and walked down the stairs and saw him. So my question is, if neither of you saw him walk through in your experience, is it fair to hold my staff to that same level? Because I guess the point I'm making is you didn't give permission for that man to walk down the stairs with the beer, correct?
I didn't.
You did not give him permission to walk down the stairs with the beer, correct?
I didn't give them permission.
Right, you did
But
not permit
what
him
do you
to do
mean?
so. And you didn't permit him to do so because you didn't see him. I believe you that you didn't permit him. But it's because you didn't see him walk through the restaurant, so you didn't give him permission. And the point I'm making is that it was the same thing with my manager, who was being inundated by the inspectors and standing right next to them. He also didn't see the customer walk down the stairs, and if I may,
Going to object is beyond the scope of cross-examination. This is fair game for him to talk about during closing arguments or to present this manager as a witness, but this is beyond the questions to be asked of my witness.
why is it beyond them?
So you're making statements that you can make within your own testimony about how your managers are reacting or this. So your questioning process is to ask him whether or not questions that you feel are relevant in the sense of the statements he's made about what he saw. So
Okay.
if your question to him is, you didn't authorize the guy to go, neither did my manager.
Right.
Did you, you've asked him several times about his written statement. You can make comments about your manager, maybe not seeing it, things like that, but your right to provide testimony would be all these other things that you're talking about, or your closing arguments about they're doing other things of that nature.
Okay.
So you have your whole turn to.
Yeah, you're gonna have this whole process to tell us what
frame it up.
happened.
Yeah.
Cause you're gonna be your own witness and explain all of that. He may ask you questions. We're gonna ask you questions.
But any of the direct things that he said, and you want to challenge right here, you should.
Yeah.
Ask questions against.
Okay.
He directly said.
Can I ask a question regarding the actual violation and why he wrote us that violation? Yeah, is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, so the violation talks that no establishment is allowed to permit any liquor to be consumed on the premises of the licensee or any premises connected with therewith, whether they're purchased or not, except as permitted by the terms of the license. So basically what that's saying is we cannot permit the customer to leave the establishment with alcoholic beverages. And permit is to give permission to. That's what permit means. It means to give permission. And I'm wondering if you didn't see him, according to your written statement, leave the premises until you were on the stairs. And so therefore, because you didn't see him, you didn't permit them. I'm wondering how you could write us a violation saying that we permitted the customer to leave with alcohol when we also didn't see. So you're a skilled inspector and we're just burrito rollers.
I'm going to object as to A, calls for legal conclusion, B, misstates prior testimony. I think the question you're looking for that might be easier to ask is, why did you write this inspection? Or I'm sorry, why did you write this violation?
That's what I'm trying to ask.
That's a fair question, but all of the other stuff that led up to that, I'm objecting to.
Okay, are you?
Yeah, why did you write a violation for this?
Because we saw the customer leave with alcoholic beverages from your establishment.
Right, but the violation doesn't say that a customer is not allowed to leave the establishment. The violation says that the establishment is not allowed to permit a customer to leave, is not allowed to give permission. So if we don't even know that the customer is leaving with an alcoholic beverage, because when I look at the camera, the customer is holding the beers like this in his stomach and he has his back.
Excuse
all
me,
of
I'm
us.
going to object to any testimony about the contents of the camera that were not disclosed in evidence, that were not provided to me during the evidence exchange, et cetera, et cetera. The witness can, on his turn, can testify about what he saw, but if we're going to go into specific details about what was contained in the camera, respectfully, I should have been given this during the evidence exchange earlier. So I would object to the contents of that.
So, but you can talk about what you saw and when it.
At a
when
later
your
time.
turn. Yeah, but
Okay.
just things directly to what he said.
Okay,
Any other questions for cross-examination?
that's all the questions. Thank you.
City's opportunity to rebuttal.
Thank you. I do have a couple of questions. Now, investigator, you were asked why you issued this violation, and there was some testimony about what you saw the customers walk out versus what the other employees potentially could have saw. Did any employee take any action to stop the customers from walking out with alcohol? Were there any signs, placards, or other notices stating you cannot exit these premises with open containers of alcohol?
No.
Based on your knowledge of the liquor license, is any alcohol permitted to be taken outside of Oahu Mexican Grill for consumption?
No.
Thank you. Now, we also talked briefly about if you saw the customers in the premises versus when you saw the customers exit the premises and go down the stairs. Do you know what I'm referring to?
Yes.
Okay. Was there any reason that drew your attention to the customers until you saw them begin to exit the premises? So when you wrote what you wrote in your report, does your report accurately show when your attention was first drawn to the customers in pursuit of what I'll call a spontaneous investigation that you observed on scene?
Yes.
And that observation occurred when you and Elsie and Mr. Fears observed the customers begin to exit the premises in possession of open alcohol.
Yes.
Thank you. Lastly, the sneeze guard that's being referenced in the exhibit, is that clear and transparent?
Yes.
In other words, you can see through that with no particular issues?
Yeah.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
So the city rests.
Unless the commission has any other questions for this witness,
I don't
the
have
city will rest.
Okay.
Thank you.
Licensee, have any witnesses?
I don't have any witnesses.
Well, you're going to provide testimony for yourself, correct?
Yes, would you like to do
Is
that?
that the closing
Yeah, that
argument?
would be,
No,
no,
this
so
is-
you have the right to provide testimony as a witness of things within your establishment you want to talk about
Oh, okay.
that happened during this time that you may have, things like that, and that would be something you'd be sworn in to do.
Okay.
Closing
Then I
argument
assume
could
you
be
can
other
cross-examine
things,
me.
but that's like, and then
Okay.
he gets to we get to ask
Forward
you
to that.
questions. He gets to cross-examine you, so that's up to you if you decide to be a witness for yourself.
I do.
Okay,
Yes, sworn.
so you swear you in.
Do you swear that the testimony you give today's hearing will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Okay, so what I witnessed is after all this happened, my manager called me, she told me what had transpired. And the first thought was that I assumed it had to be a sting operation, like, because I don't know if that's the correct word, sting operation, but you know how the liquor commission will go into, say, a liquor store with someone with an underage ID and try to buy beers, like something of that nature is what I thought was happening, because we're a restaurant. If you look at us, we're like a Chipotle, we're in a Chipotle Subway style, right? Our alcohol sales are maybe 10%. People have one drink, like we're not a bar, like people don't come and get drunk and hang out there. So it doesn't, and we are directly above an ABC store. The ABC store opens before us, it closes later than us. They're open all the hours we're open and then some. And they sell a 6-pack of Corona for the same price that you can buy one Corona at our restaurant. And you can buy it legally down there and you can take it to go. So there's no incentive for a customer to ever take alcohol to go. And when I look at it's just it's such a rarity that anybody would try to do something like that. That for the inspectors to have been there serendipitously at just the correct time. And then just as the customer leaves, then I can see in the camera, then the inspectors are like, oh, thank you, manager, thank you, appreciate your time. And everyone says, thank you, and they start to walk down the stairs, and then you see in the camera, as they start to walk down the stairs, Mr. Fears is, oh, excuse me, sir, because the customer had stopped at the bottom of the stairs, and now he's just holding the beers in plain sight. When the customer initially left, he was holding the beers, like, if that's the food service area, and this is the exit, and he has to come down the stairs. He's walking like this, holding the beers, so that his back is to everybody, including the inspectors, including all of my employees. And so, at least per the written statement, nobody saw him carry the beers through. Not my employees, not the inspectors that have been doing this for many years. Nobody saw him. So he carried the beers down there. And then right when he gets to the bottom of the stairs, he just stops and he just holds the beers like this. And then the inspectors start to come down, and then Inspector Fears sees what's going on. I watched all this on camera. Inspector Fears sees him and says, excuse me, sir, you can't have that beer. And the camera backs up Inspector Fears' statement. It's exactly as he said. Then the customer walks off the establishment, and then Inspector Fears says, aha, I got you, and comes and takes the beers. I don't have any audio down there, so I don't know what he said to the customer, but apparently it doesn't sound like he even asked for the customer's name or called the police or anything like that. He just took the beers back up. So that's why my first inclination was this must have been like some sort of sting operation. I believe you when you said that it's not, and that this was just completely serendipitous and it just worked out perfectly for you guys. But in that same note, if nobody saw him walk through, saw the customer walk through with the beers, and it wasn't until per your written statement and per the camera that you were on the stairs before you saw them, then I don't know how you could say that, that anyone gave them permission to leave the establishment with alcohol, because none of my employees even saw them leave with alcohol, and you couldn't possibly give permission if we didn't see them. Same as you two. You obviously didn't give him permission to leave with alcohol because you didn't see them. It wasn't until you were on the stairs, and I don't know if you can pull up the picture of the stairs, but you'll notice that the stairwell is not visible from anywhere upstairs in the restaurant. So if the customer is walking down the stairs and now he's not hiding him anymore, he's holding him out. I think that the statute is very clear. It doesn't say that, we violate the statute if a customer leaves the premises with alcohol. It says we violate the statute if we permit a customer to leave the premises with alcohol. And since we didn't even know he was leaving with alcohol, we certainly didn't permit him to leave. And of course, we never would, because we're well aware of the rules, and it does not benefit us to do so. It typically wouldn't benefit the customer to do so either, because I mentioned buy a 6-pack downstairs for the same price. So that's what I observed. That's it.
We get to ask.
You can ask questions. Okay, are you done with your?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so I have a couple questions. So first, the stairway is only your stairwell, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And for me, I understand what you're saying, but I'm also concerned that if someone could hide something from your employees at that one particular time, right? That heavens forbid, right? One particular time, it could happen more than that, right? Because I mean, honestly, right? And,
Absolutely, yeah.
and
at any restaurant, really, if the customer's trying to hide it, he's gonna hide it.
no, I
We're not
agree. I
gonna-
mean, it happens, right? It probably happens at places. We just try to figure out how we best can look at concerns, right? That the laws are at, and how we can address to help fix those things. So my question to you is a view forward, okay?
Mhm.
What is your thoughts or plans? However this turns out, right? To make it where something like this could less possibly happen.
Sure, that's a fair question. One thing that we've already done is on the stairwell, as you're walking down, there's kind of like a little wall up here. We put a sign on it that says no alcohol beyond this point. I don't think that's gonna matter in a case like this because the customer's clearly trying to hide it, so they already know no alcohol is allowed, but we did put that on just in case there's anybody that is not aware that you can't take open containers on the public area. And then, the other thing we can do, we have one blue card holder on staff at all times, as required. In this case, he was being questioned by the inspectors over in the bar area, and we had a couple of younger college kids in the front, who, they're not trained to be, they're busy rolling burritos and ringing up customers, and they're not trained to be looking around, and they don't have x-ray vision, they can't see through customers, Yeah. So, but maybe one thing we can do is try to have some sort of staff training where, hey, let's, we can't look through clothing or anything like that. We can't strip search anybody, but, maybe we'll try to be more aware. It's really the best that us or any restaurant, I think, could do in that situation.
Sure, understood. And I want to clear up, I think the ACE project is what you were referring to in regards to where they bring the underage individual to like a supermarket or to a restaurant. That's considered the ACE project.
Okay.
And we do that, I think, a couple times a year. And that's basically to make sure we give warning of it, I believe, and it's to kind of make sure everybody's kind of following, that they're checking people's IDs.
So it's just for underage drinking?
Yes,
Check
underage
IDs.
drinking.
They're not doing
No,
things like this? Okay.
it's basically for underage drinking.
There's no benefit for people, the investigators to catch people, right? It's just their job to go out and.
Yeah.
Right.
Do the inspection.
I have no other questions. Thank you for your answers.
Thank you. Yes.
I had a couple of questions. One, you actually referenced, you said that you and Mr. Pierce had a history.
Yes.
You want to expound on that or? No?
Sure, yeah, so during COVID, one of Mayor Caldwell's proclamations. Mayor Caldwell gave the inspectors extended powers where they could shut down a business for 24 hours with no hearing, no nothing, just at their discretion. And Inspector Fears misinterpreted one of the mayor's proclamations. Basically, the proclamation said that all restaurants have to collect contact tracing information, with the exception of restaurants that don't provide table service. And then it gave an example of that, fast food restaurants, because they don't have table service means you have servers that come to the table. But Mr. Fears said, no, table service means you have tables. Like, okay, well, McDonald's has tables and it's explicitly excludes them, right? Because they're fast food. But he decided to say, nope, because you have tables and people can dine in, you have table service, which is not what the mayor intended, and it's not what the proclamation said, but he still shut us down for 24 hours on the spot. So that was, and after that, us and many other restaurants wrote a letter to Mayor Blangiardi. And I think that is probably one of the reasons maybe that you guys are all here too, is because they've somewhat cleaned house. And not saying that any of the commissions were doing anything wrong, but I know that there's been a lot of turnover on this board, and I'm happy to have you guys here. But that's what's happening. And now that Jacob Pierce is gone, we're not gonna lose sleep over that.
I have another question. So you referenced having video, a lot of video here, and for whatever.
Sorry, I didn't mean to make it sound like.
Oh, okay. For whatever technical reasons, you weren't able to produce it here.
Right.
Which is unfortunate because it would have been very good for
The
that.
cameras are a little archaic, so I can go back and look at it, but to try to get it if it was.
But I guess kind of on the bottom line, right? It's not contested that the two people had the beers in your place and then walked out onto the street.
That's not contested at all. My argument is simply that the violation isn't about that. The violation is about whether we permitted them to do that.
Yeah.
I don't have any other questions, but he gets to cross-examine, or he gets to cross-examine.
Sure.
Thank you. Don't worry, I only have a couple of questions.
Great.
So your testimony is you observed this violation via the cameras after your manager called you, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you weren't there personally to observe any of this happening?
Correct.
Okay. At your company, who has access to the security cameras?
Myself and my manager has access to a couple of the cameras.
Okay. Is there any screens or displays within the licensed premises that shows the security cameras?
No.
Okay. So they're displayed or secured on an offsite area. None of the people who are actually in the premises have access to them.
Correct.
Okay. Now, you testified that you're not a bar, but you do sell alcohol, correct?
Yes, we have a restaurant license.
Right. And Pacifico is one of the alcohols that you sell.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Now, you spent a little bit of time talking about how it was strange or weird that the liquor inspectors were there. I think your term was serendipitously to observe this particular interaction, correct?
Right.
Okay. And just to be clear, you're not alleging that there was some kind of conspiracy or anything like that. You're just pointing out that they happened to be here for this particular inspection.
Right. Well, the reason I initially pointed out is because I wanted to know if this was a sting type operation. I take the inspector at his word that it wasn't.
Okay. Do you agree that it is the responsibility of your licensee and or employees to prevent people from taking open containers of alcohol from your license premises out into the street?
To the best of our abilities, I would say say a lady put a napkin in the top of a beer and put it in her purse and zipped it shut. Like things like that, we're never gonna catch, or in this case, if a customer hides it.
I'm less talking about what you can and cannot catch. I'm asking, in your interpretation of the statute that we've been discovering, is it the burden or responsibility of your licensee and employees, to the best of their ability, to stop people from taking alcohol from your premises to outside your premises?
I think as the code says, we are not allowed to permit anyone. We're not allowed to give permission to anyone to take alcohol outside. And if we see them, of course, we will stop them. And, we need to have some due diligence and do our best to see that. Like we don't turn a blind eye or anything like that.
Okay.
Because I would consider that permitting. To be turning a blind eye would be permitting as well.
So turning a blind eye, so to speak, is, you believe that to be a violation of the statute? To the best of your understanding, I know you're not an attorney, we're not fighting over minutia of it. I'm asking about your understanding.
Yeah, my understanding, if an employee were to see a customer walking toward the door or out of the establishment with beer and not say anything, that would be permitted.
Okay. Now, you testified that you have access to all of the cameras that view the inside of your establishment, and you reviewed all of them, even if you weren't able to provide them to me, correct?
I reviewed as many as I could find. Camera systems are a little archaic, so it's scrolling through long strings of video to try to find the exact moment.
So let's talk about the, let's say 5 seconds or so surrounding when the customer gets up from wherever they were, walks across the area inside of your premises, and walks down the stairs.
Right.
Were there any customers at the burrito bar at that time?
I don't believe there were.
Thank you. I have no other questions for this witness.
But I would add that.
Licensee has an opportunity for rebuttal.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I would add that there were no customers there, but it was also 9:30 in the evening at night, at 9:30 PM. We close at 10 PM. So my employees were busy counting the cash register, cleaning everything, trying to get out. They weren't just standing there doing nothing, waiting, watching the customer with the beer walk by. They were busy working.
Any other comments for rebuttal?
Nope.
So the licensee rests. City's closing argument?
Thank you. Would you like me to stand for this or no need?
No, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. Thank you, Chairman and Commissioners. The statute that was violated in this case, as I read during the beginning, reads, on or about January 27th, 2024, in the city and county of Honolulu, state of Hawaii, the licensee permitted liquor to be consumed on the premises of the licensee or on any premises connected therewith, to wit, on a public sidewalk fronting the licensed premises, whether purchased there or not, and consumption in such area is not permitted by the terms of the licensee in violation of section 281-78 subsection B subsection 2 of the Hawaii revised statutes. Now, in application, there's several things that the city needs to prove, or at least to convince the commission of, in order to return an adjudication of guilt. Those elements are, did this occur in the city and county of Honolulu? That's agreed to. I don't think there's any contention that this occurred somewhere outside of the commission's jurisdiction. Did it occur on January 27th, 2024? Again, I think there's an agreement as to that element. Did the licensee permit liquor to be consumed on a public sidewalk? That's the one we're having contested issues over, and I'll get to that in a second. And the last is, which is prohibited by section 281-78 subsection B subsection 2, which again, I don't think that there's any contested issues over that. The area where the alcohol was consumed, which is the sidewalk fronting the licensee, is not permitted under the terms of the license. The issue, therefore, is, did the licensee permit the alcohol to be removed from the premises? The city argues that that has been proven via the testimony of the liquor inspector, as well as the stipulated exhibits that have gone into evidence. The licensee's argument is essentially that his employees are busy. They couldn't see that these customers were removing alcohol, and if they saw it, they would have stopped them. Respectfully, that might be an argument for lowering of the fine or something like that, had the licensee agreed and said, hey, yes, this is what happened, but these are our excuses. But that is not a defense against the actual wording of the statute. I would remind the commissioners that in the exhibits that were presented, there were no signs saying you cannot take alcohol out. And indeed, that sign has appropriately been enacted now to try and preclude this from happening again. But at the time, there were no signs. There were several employees who were active and on duty. While I understand people get busy, people look at other things, but it is the responsibility of the licensee by and through its employees to pay attention to what's going on within the licensed premises. I understand they're college students. I understand they have other things. I understand it's 9:30 at night, but they are employed and they're there as agents and actors for the licensee. That means they are bound by the requirements of the licensee, one of which is to prevent people from taking alcohol outside of the premises. Now, lastly, I would point the commission to the fact that by the licensee's own testimony, there were no other customers at what I'm going to call the burrito rolling area, or the area that, thank you, the area that's covered by the little spit guard. The employees were behind that area, which is what we can see from the photograph. There are no customers to draw their attention. There are no obstructions on the spit guard. As the licensee states, it's 9:30 at night. There's not a lot going on. I understand they're busy, but it is their responsibility to prevent, or at least make every reasonable effort to prevent people from walking out with open containers of alcohol. That was simply not done here. Respectfully, there is enough credible evidence placed before this commission to return an adjudication of guilt. Thank you.
Later. Yeah, closing argument.
Sure. So with all due respect, I'll disagree with that analysis. So to say, basically, the prosecution is attempting to say that, yes, we didn't verbally give permission to anyone to leave. We didn't see the alcohol leaving, but he's saying we should have seen it. And I believe. However, according to neither of your inspectors, who are full-time inspectors, and this is the job they do all day, every day, according to their written testimony, neither of them saw the alcohol going down the steps. That's exactly what I've read your written testimony to you many times. That's what it says right here. And that goes with the camera too. No, neither of you, none of my customers, nobody saw the customer carry the bottles to the stairway. And it makes sense that you wouldn't see him, because if you look at the camera, he has his back to you, and he has 2 bottles of beer just like this pinned up against here so that nobody can see them. And then he goes down the stairs. And according to the written statements, that's when both you and Jacob Beer's written statements, that is when you saw him on the stairs bring the beers down. So to say that we permitted this customer to bring alcohol out of the establishment would be no more true than to say that you permitted him to bring beers out of the establishment. Um, One second, sorry. So despite what the prosecutor might want to change the wording of the statute to, the statute specifically says permit. It does not at all say allow. It does not say if the customer brings alcohol outside, it's our responsibility. And actually it says giving permission for a customer to consume alcohol at an adjacent premises. So we certainly do not give the customer permission to stand outside our restaurant and drink beers. I mean, that's pretty preposterous, I think, and it's pretty obvious that neither myself nor any of my employees permitted the customer to do that.
City's final argument.
Thank you. I have two things that I want to address out of the licensee's closing argument. The first is when the inspectors saw the alcohol being moved across. As the inspector testified, and as I think is consistent with the written report, their attention was fully focused when the customer started to walk down the stairs, because that is when the violation appears to be in progress. There is no violation with the customer getting up and walking across the room. There's no reason for that to be placed in the report, because that is not a part of the violation. The violation occurs when the customer starts to walk down the stairs, which are still part of the licensed premises, and the violation culminates when the customer sets foot outside of the door. So as the inspector testified, he saw them initially when he was looking around. There is no reason for him to focus on them because the violation does not occur until, well, as he testified, he can observe the violation to be imminent when they start to walk down the stairs, because that's a single way in, single way out. So if attention gets focused then, that's why it starts to reflect in the report. That is not inconsistent with either the written report or the oral testimony. And the commission is in full possession of exhibits 1 and 2. You're free to review them and free to compare them as you see fit. But the city does not believe that there's inconsistencies based on the reporting, the written statement, or the oral testimony. Now, lastly, on this whole issue of permitting versus, I'll call it permitting versus reckless. The city's argument is that the strict language of the statute is that the licensee cannot permit alcohol to be removed from their premises to be consumed outside. The alcohol was open. We know that from the investigator's statement, and I don't believe that's a contested issue. The question then becomes, does the licensee have a proactive duty to stop the open alcohol to be taken from their premises to the outside? And the city argues, yes, of course they do. That is one of the terms of the license. That is why this commission sets limits on where alcohol can be consumed. I'm sympathetic with the position of the licensee and that, workers are tired, workers are busy. They can't be expected to watch hawk-eyed for every detail. But the fact remains, when they're employees of the licensee, they're required to follow the rules and conditions of the statutes of the Liquor Commission and the laws of the state of Hawaii. That was not done in this case. Thank you very much.
The parties have anything further to add?
Nothing from the city. Thank you.
The commission will now deliberate.
back in session. Commissioners, may I have a motion with respect to this matter?
Yes, my motion is to find the allegations sustained.
Second.
Moved and
It's
seconded.
been moved and seconded. I also vote aye, this motion carries. Mr. Everett, what is your penalty recommendation?
Thank you, commissioners. This is a first offense. The penalty recommendation is $1,000.
Mr. Plater, I think you understand what we're deliberating on the intent to permit. As being a licensee in this category, you know, it is your proactive responsibility to ensure that liquor does not leave your premise.
Yeah, and this is kind of in the same sense, your responsibility for not permitting, right, minors to obtain alcohol. And so there are methods that you use for training, for checking IDs, those types of things that provide an affirmative defense when these types of issues come up.
And so, you know, based on that, right, based on the fact that you talked about putting a sign up, based on the fact that you made a comment, you're looking to train your people, you know, to keep an eye out better for this, okay? In regards to the penalty, my motion is going to be to issue a letter of reprimand for this violation.
Okay, I second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Say aye. I also vote aye, motion carried.
Oh.
Can I ask what that means?
Okay, so we've sustained the charges because the alcohol left. The fine was recommended at $1,000, but we feel like you really are sincere in trying to make sure that this will not happen again. We're trying to stress that you should take these affirmative actions, because if we see you here again, and he says it's your second offense, then the fine will be significantly more than $1,000. We probably won't be so.
So no fine of $1,000.
So no fine. Oh,
Yeah.
You're gonna get a letter just saying that it's a letter of reprimand, that this happened, don't do it again, fix.
Okay.
I think that's how it reads. I'm not exactly sure. I've never read through one.
As Commissioner Hollinger said, we want this to make sure the signage is up and clear. And secondly, that to continue the training of your employees, given what happened in this situation, that they need to be vigilant.
okay, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, commissioners.
thank you.
You, Chair.
It's good.
Okay. Other business, agenda item number 35, Liquor Commission to discuss processes and procedures outlines in an agenda. We had some items that we wanted to bring up for our website, but let's defer that for next meeting. Commissioner Bach is here. So we'll move on to agenda item number 36, Liquor Administrator, Mr. Patilos.
Welcome back.
Thank you, Commissioners. Sal Patilos, Administrator, Honolulu Liquor Commission. I'd just like to go over a couple of things for you. As you know, we're going through the license renewal period. It is an, shall I say, intense and time-sensitive endeavor. And as of last night, we had received 1,371 applications and issued 1,230 new licenses. As I said, it's a time-sensitive endeavor, and it's a process that's been made more difficult by the fact that our acting ASO, as well as the licensing clerk, left to pursue other opportunities. So I'd just like to say thank you to some of the folks that have made sure that the ball keeps rolling in the department. As I said, I'd like to commend several people: Ali, Denise, Cheryl, Jennifer, Doug, as well as Dan, for the efforts that they've made to make sure that we keep the ball rolling on this. The license renewal is really important in terms of the revenues that the agency generates, and that's part of the of how it's part of the funds that we use to operate. So it's critical. Second of all, the agency is hosting an opioid overdose prevention and response training on July 15th. The trainings will be provided by the Hawaii Health and Harm Reduction Center. We are holding 2 sessions, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. And currently, there are 40 registered for the morning session and 21 for the afternoon session. There's still some space. Hopefully, other licensees will be signing up as well.
So this is training on how to use Narcan.
Yeah, and also it's not just the use of Narcan, but also to know what to know what to do even after the application.
Is that training only going to be licensees involved, or is that going to be some of the inspectors involved as
I
well?
think for us, it's just a licenses at this point.
Can we look at some point to talk about inspectors getting some type of similar education process, only because they're in
They may
the
be-
field and they've come across it happening, they might need to do it as well. I just don't want to put them in a situation that they would not have an
I would be
education.
happy to discuss with H3RC
Okay,
whether or not they want to provide additional training. I think they're very open to providing training when they can. And at least from our conversations with them.
maybe you can check in on that.
Okay.
Just get back to us.
I'll do
That
that.
way they're not the only people out there not knowing.
Also, since I think something that a development on the legislative side, the passage of HB 159, which essentially exempts the notarization renewals from the notarization requirement. I think that's going to be critical moving forward. It's not very helpful for this particular renewal period, just simply because it was signed only on the 21st, and we're only like the weekend. But it actually took effect upon signing by the governor. But I think that is also something that moving forward will help not only our efforts, but also the efforts of the other counties to digitize or make the renewal process electronic. So that just something for the future that's going to be helpful in terms of process. And finally, I'd hate to talk about this, but as you know, our acting ASO left for the water supply. So we have engaged someone to come in on a personal services contract basis. July 1, take us to act as an ASO. That said, our recruitment for a permanent ASO position was also successful, and we anticipate that individual coming in on mid-July.
Like a couple week period for the.
Yeah.
With that said, there's also
Backlog.
there's that as well. So I think we're trying to do everything that we can to try to make sure that we have the staff necessary to keep moving forward. I mean, it's stressful for those who are here when positions are unfilled. There's a lot of, and I think there's a lot of people scrambling, trying to make sure that we're able to discharge our responsibilities correctly. And so that places a lot of pressure on staff. So I want to make sure that, even if it's just for a short period of time, that there's support for the staff when it comes to things like what do we do when we're hiring people? What do we do if we're trying to get the new vehicles that we got budget for last year? So I think that's going to be helpful. And there's and hopefully we will continue to do that. And as well, and another position as well. We did have a candidate who accepted the conditional offer for chief investigator. Hopefully, all things come to fruition in that one as well.
Good.
But I think that's an update on where we are. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
A couple of things for me that, yeah, timing was kind of tough on the just 2 weeks, but I think the optics are good for the staff to show that being proactive to try to bring in support.
Yeah, I think
And-
I think the difficulty as well is that we didn't anticipate being able to recruit for the permanent position so quickly.
That's a good thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
a good thing.
But we want to make sure that we have the individuals to be able to provide support for the staff as we move forward.
And my last comment would be, is there anything that the commissioners can do to recognize those that have stepped up during the renewal period by putting in more time or doing whatever it takes to get things done despite being shorthanded? Is there anything you think we could do?
I think mentioning their names here, and the fact that they've done that they've done yeoman's work and trying to make sure that keep the ball rolling is good. But if you get the chance to see them, and you probably will because they're the ones basically working the front desk, I would appreciate it if you just say thank you or say hello, thank you for your efforts in regard to this particular project.
That's all I have.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, calling agenda item number 37. Any announcements? All right.